Okay, guys, welcome to the Social Living Podcast. We're back for another week. I'm your host, Julian, and my co-host, Jamal Lawrence.
Yo,
Man,
yo.
what are we telling them, man? How you doing? How's
Yeah,
your week going?
good man. I've got annual leave the rest of this week. Tanika's birthday, so yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Looking forward to some time off. Should
Yeah,
be
man, that's good.
nice.
That's what we like to hear, man.
Yeah,
The
how about
missus
you?
is back. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm doing well. Like last week, who would have thought when we were recording the show that I actually was going to test positive for COVID-19 the next day. That is a mad one.
Mm.
But yeah, no, man, I've recovered. I don't test positive anymore. So I'm COVID free. Will this change my view on the vaccination? No. Is this just as good as getting vaccinated? Probably.
Mm.
So I feel good. The family's going through it at the moment, but we're all good. We're all getting through it, and yeah, man, it's been a hard week, but this week has kind of been just back to normal, back to work, back to
Yeah,
serve clients, back to meetings and stuff like that. So yeah, man,
that's
it's
it.
it's, it's
Yeah.
not a bad shout, and I'm looking forward to this episode, to be honest, because we're gonna talk about something that I've never really spoken about before. I know I messaged you earlier, like, oh, what's been happening this week? Because I feel like I've been disconnected, but
Mm.
well, it's the biggest thing that's been happening in it, which is
Yeah, man.
over the weekend we saw the Taliban take over Afghanistan, which I guess for those who don't know what the Taliban is, I guess it's like a an organization. The US deemed them as a terrorist organization,
Mm.
who basically plotted to regain, um, I guess, the government. So the
Yeah.
current prime minister leader had to flee the country, and they kind of regained control of all states or boroughs in Afghanistan, which is
Mm.
crazy. And obviously with the history that you and I might know of uh, Afghanistan and Iraq, and 9/11 and Twin Towers, and
Mm-hmm.
the 7/7 bombings and things like that. Like it all
Mm-hmm.
kind of, it could be a scary moment for some people. They might not understand it. Um, I guess, yeah. So basically, it's something that's being covered across all the news outlets at the moment, and yeah, the Taliban seem to have to gain control, which is another pivotal moment in the Afghanistan in Afghanistan's history. So
Yeah.
we're going to look into like what does this mean. Obviously, our focus is always social media, and Facebook have come out with something, also WhatsApp as well, um, and TikTok have all come out, kind of banning any Taliban content. But I'm sure you've all seen some of the content that was being posted. Like you just couldn't get away from it over the
Mm-hmm.
weekend. Like thousands of people were trying to flee Afghanistan. Um, over the weekend, people holding on to like planes, like Air Force Ones, like
Yeah, it's crazy.
it's,
It's crazy
it's,
scenes. Crazy
it's
scenes.
crazy seeing, like, you know what, on my point of view, like some of the videos, I swear, did it like it was hard to even watch. Like it doesn't look real to me. Like, and
Mm.
it's mad because sometimes that's what social media can do. You see something so many times that you kind of, what's the word, where you like it doesn't pluck on your strings anymore. You kind of
Mm-hmm.
become desensitized to it, and
I was about to touch on that. I was literally just
yeah,
about to touch on that.
yeah,
Because I was saying the only I don't say the only reason, but on the weekend saw the image the videos of them on trying to get onto the plane, and I've seen obviously it then goes to the influencers, it goes through everyone's IG stories, spreading awareness of what's going on in Afghanistan. But the video that got me into researching what's going on was the video of the Taliban in one of the US gyms that they have in Afghanistan.
Oh, okay.
which is like I think is quite important about being like desensitized to a lot of the well, let's call them awareness posts that are going around, because it seems every week there is this new hot topic of awareness pieces, and rightly so. But because, like you said, there is so many of them, it doesn't it the effect has lessened because it doesn't connect as much. But
Yeah.
yeah, my route into researching this was of the guys in the gym, and it was if I was watching, like, I seen the tweets, but it was as if I was watching like a Borat film.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the video, but
I haven't, man,
it's like
but like touch
it's
on it.
they basically they just turned into a meme. So there was the Taliban in like a US Army gym, guns everywhere, bazookas on the back, like, and they were just lifting weights, like just mocking it really. It turned into a meme. It went around Twitter. I'm sure someone's probably seen it, but yeah, that was my way into knowing what was going on over in
Mm,
Afghanistan. Just because that
mm.
was not a different approach, because they've not really done that for awareness, but just a different way of it clicking with me, I guess.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, no.
like I touched on, because that there's been so many awareness pieces at the moment, and yeah, it can be hard to stay on top of them all.
It is, man. It's difficult because sometimes I don't. I think a lot of people are like that. When something becomes too trendy, you kind of want to like just disconnect from it a little bit because it's just
Hmm.
like what everyone else is talking about. Like obviously the situation in Afghanistan is a real situation and it's something that people should take seriously. I don't even know enough about the situation to be able to guide people into where to offer any help or how to even raise awareness in the right way because I don't know what the situation is. I don't know what the Taliban will do, what they're proposing to the current state. You're
Hmm.
hearing that a lot of progress that's been happening amongst women in Afghanistan will probably come to a halt. So things like I guess that during the weekend when they did take over, we saw, I think they were saying universities were turning away women, and they weren't allowed back at the universities. There's a lot of talk that women would who I guess it was optional for them to wear like face coverings like the hijab and the niqab. I think it's now going to become more compulsory. But again, I don't want to be quoted on that, but they're just saying that
Hmm.
there's going to be I guess stricter circumstances for women in the country again, kind of going back to I don't know if it's what it was before in the past, but
Hmm.
yeah, so it's like it's a crazy situation, and then you also got the politics side of it as well. So Boris Johnson has said his piece, Joe Biden has said his piece. The majority are basically saying that they're not acknowledging the Taliban as the current government there. So again, that could spark some certain things, which could also look like betrayal to a lot of, I guess, people who are on the ground in Afghanistan at the moment who have been working with the US and the UK soldiers in kind of helping them kind of I don't know, like helping the US and the UK kind of maintain things in Afghanistan. And
Hmm.
now those people are just kind of left for dead there. Hence why loads of people are like trying to flee.
Hmm.
So it's a really sticky situation. This kind of leads me on to into what like Facebook have said and WhatsApp. So they both obviously the same company. They basically say that the Taliban is a terrorist organization and any of their content will be banned across their platforms. So essentially, that organization isn't allowed to use WhatsApp, use Facebook Lives, and things like that. Which again, I think is really hard to contain that. But to the powers that be, they know what they're doing, and they keep out. Um, I guess they keep an eye out on like live information and Taliban have already reached out and said that they condemn I guess Facebook for kind
Hmm.
of blocking some of their live broadcasts that they've been trying to do from their government headquarters. But yeah, overall, it just seems like a mad time, and I think the video of seeing people like trying to climb onto a moving plane, I feel like
Hmm.
that is wild, and like
It just, yeah, it just highlights the desperation over there, like the people on the ground. So I think I'm under the impression that this all stemmed from the US taking their troops. I'm not sure if it's all of their troops or a large sum of them out of Afghanistan, and
yeah,
then the Taliban have just taken over, and yeah, just and that's the situation at the moment. But yeah, I wonder how this all affects Facebook stock, because I know there's been a lot of talk back and forth through different avenues. I don't know if it was a leader or one of the leaders of the Taliban had a news press conference and mentioned, I think he was questioned on freedom of speech, and then he brought up Facebook in
yeah,
terms of, yeah, in terms of Facebook banning them to speak on the platform. Like they was literally comparing they compared themselves to Facebook, saying they're as bad or as good as Facebook because they want freedom of speech to go ahead. But yeah, it's a difficult one, because when these large corporations now jump into politics, it affects a lot more than what we see on the surface.
yeah, 100%. I think we touched on this before in previous episodes of like, well, how much power should these kind of social media platforms have?
Hmm.
Like we can all agree that we don't want any of these platforms kind of enhancing or enabling any terrorist groups. But then there is a line of where they are allowed a freedom of speech, and they should probably feel the consequences of their freedom of speech, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Um, but then who 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 controls that? Can a social media platform decide what you can and can't say? Um,
Hmm.
and this is where it's a very blurred line at the moment. But I do think that they are taking the right stance in terms of, okay, look, the US view this organization as a terrorist organization, so we're never going to enable them, and that's their way. But we've seen the likes of Donald Trump be treated in a different way, and
Hmm.
he might not ever be classed as like a terrorist organization or whatever. So he might give the argument of freedom of speech.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a difficult one, man.
It is a difficult one. It is a difficult one. But I feel like Facebook are acting responsibly with this. Like we all know the agenda of the Taliban, and like you've listed off a few of the events around them in the past. Like we need to kind of nip this in the bud and give it. Let us, we need it's a hard goal, because you need it to be publicized, but you need to control what is publicized, which will be a tough job to Facebook to kind of sieve through the things that need awareness and bring awareness of the doings over in Afghanistan.
Yeah, 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 because you might not want to give awareness to some of the videos that the Taliban are doing, but you need to give awareness on the situation and what's happening
Yeah.
in over there. And also another thing as well is that, like, the social media can breed a lot of misinformation at the moment, and like it could be it can be, I don't know, it could be spun in various different ways. Like a lot of
Hmm.
people, I know, no doubt, there's going to be a lot of people talking about, oh, this is the US fault. This is the UK's fault for them being in there. Why are they still there? They found Bin Laden ages ago. Like
Hmm.
all this type of talk. But again, not a lot of people are talking from accurate sense of knowledge, and that can just spread like wildfire as well. And
Hmm.
suddenly you're gonna see, oh, it's the US fault, it's the UK's fault, it's Boris Johnson. What is he doing? Da, da, da. So it's yeah, like I don't know what the solution is, but um I think that the social media platforms are taking the right stance by just allowing people to share what they see in the news, and then kind of
Hmm.
just using that. And then
Mhm.
I guess they have to just learn by like you have to learn bit by bit every day and see what's actually happening. We've heard Joe Biden say that he'll offer help to the people that's on the ground there um, until August 31st, and then everyone's left at August 31st. But then what does that mean? Like, what if you
Mhm.
can't get help in that time, and you're gonna feel like are the US like are you gonna feel let down by the US? What if you're an interpreter? You were an ally of the US Army.
Mhm.
Are you suddenly going to be left to the hands of the Taliban, and
Mhm.
you might not see or hear from you ever again? And I feel like there is a line of duty maybe for the US or the UK to kind of help those people. But again, I'm not involved in that sense, so I can't send those orders. But those things kind of come to mind when you have this type of conversation.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
again. That's an interesting one about the US and the UK helping in any way possible. Because again, these decisions bring out I don't yeah, it can bring out the nasty side of social media because now everyone has an opinion on these doing, especially when it's over politics and governments. You then start to see like all it takes is a video to go up on Sky News or a statement saying that the UK are now letting in refugees from Afghanistan. And if you go through like the mentions and the replies to that
yeah,
tweet, it gets nasty. It shows a nasty side of the
yeah,
country. So yeah, I don't know. That's like, again another thing that these tech companies and social media platforms are gonna have to manage because yeah, it can be a nasty place when politics is as high as it is at the moment.
yeah. No, you're right, man. You're right. I think yeah, as long as the social media platforms stay on the I guess the moral ground on the right side of the moral ground.
Hmm.
They're doing their bit, and I guess for people like us, we can only try and raise awareness through the platforms that we create content on, and try and do our best to raise awareness in it in that sense. And I
Mm.
guess I feel like that's all you can do until you have a bit more power.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're never ever going to know the full extent of the situation between Afghanistan, US, and UK,
Hmm.
because it does seem to run deep. And I can get lost in documentaries galore when it comes to like when we talk about like Bin Laden and Saddam Hussein and Afghan
Hmm.
and Iraq. Like it runs so deep and I feel like it almost ends up into like an esoteric knowledge type place because it's just information that's just not widely known. So
Hmm.
and you can end up looking or appearing like you're gonna end up talking about Illuminati or something like that. But like
Yeah.
that's how far it kind of runs deep. Um, when you hear about some of the stories between like the relationships between Afghanistan or Bin Laden and the US.
Mm.
So yeah, but we don't need to go into that too deep. But
Nah.
yeah, I think we touched on a lot there. Yeah, when it comes to Facebook versus the Taliban and social media versus the Taliban, TikTok making the right step by blocking kind of any Taliban content that comes through, which is fair. Because yeah, you got to protect the masses, and I guess you don't want that type of organization to grow. I guess. So
Hmm.
yeah.
No, definitely.
So yeah, man.
Definitely.
Um, I guess the next topic that we got here is the Lukaku, man. Like last week, we touched on Messi, one of the biggest well, probably the biggest signing of the summer. And then a week later, we're talking about Romelu Lukaku, man, moving
Big
from
Rom. Big Rom.
Inter Inter Milan to Chelsea. He's back home,
Mm.
man, and again another big rollout, another big expensive fee. I believe the fee was just under £100 million.
Mm.
He now becomes the most expensive player ever in a sense of the amount of transfer fee he has accumulated in all his moves being
Oh, that's
just
crazy. I'm not. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
yeah. So I think so. It's just I think he's accumulated 280 million pounds in transfer fees over
Mm,
the course of his career, which
mm,
is yeah, it's crazy. It is
mm,
mad. Like, literally, when you deep it, like it's a big thing.
mm,
It's a big thing that Ronaldo hasn't done that. So just to kind of put it into context, um, uh, the most expensive player of all time is Romelu Lukaku. I got it here in euros. I don't have it in pounds, so forgive me for that. But so after Romelu Lukaku, we have Neymar, 300 million, 310 million.
mm.
Romelu Lukaku is at 327 million euros. That's over five transfers. Cristiano Ronaldo, three transfers, 230 million.
Mm.
Alvaro Morata, he is 189 million in six
He has
transfers.
got he's got to be the biggest fraud in football. How is Morata up there? That is madness. How is he up there?
But you got to think like Morata went everywhere. He went Chelsea,
Mm,
Juventus, Real Madrid. He's been at Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. I don't know where he's at now. Probably Juventus.
man.
But yeah, six
Has he
transfers.
has he done well? Has he done well anywhere?
Um, I feel like he does well enough because he keeps getting the moves. Six moves is not
Yeah,
it's not easy, is it?
it is mad.
But yeah, like in terms of the top, like so Lukaku, Neymar, Ronaldo, Morata, Di Maria, Antoine Griezmann, Usman Dembele, and then Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
It's
So
crazy, man.
yeah, man, it's
A lot,
it's
mm,
crazy.
a lot of those guys aren't really like proven, or they've not lived well. Proved they might be proven, but they've not lived up to the price tags that they've been given,
Uh,
which is a common. If you think about Griezmann at Barca, Dembele at Barca, Morata
yeah,
there,
yeah,
Lukaku at United, like
Di Maria, yeah. Yeah, no, it's true, but I think Lukaku being Lukaku, he started so young, man.
mm,
Like I remember I swear he was playing first team at like 15. He was just the size of a man
mm,
already. Like, and then when he got to he moved to Chelsea, like he was still a boy, like he was young, and now
mm,
he's about to be a man. And we touched on it a couple of weeks ago where we were saying that uh we feel like Lukaku and Haaland have probably passed Mbappe in the pecking order, the best strikers in the world,
mm,
and he's no surprise he's getting that move. So no, it's a big thing. And another thing I really enjoyed as well with the rollout, handled by Rock Nation.
yeah,
I know
I saw
Chelsea
you
did
share
their
it.
own thing. I know Chelsea did their own thing, but what Lukaku put on his own social, I thought was genius, man. Like, in typical Rock Nation fashion, music provided by Nipsey Hussle and Jay-Z, and
Mm,
it's like, that to me, I love to see it because it just rings home. It's relatable, like, Lukaku is black. When we see people get to the top like that, we still want to be able to relate to
mm.
them, and that is something that's very strategic. And yeah, so I feel like, yeah, big shout out to the Rock Nation team for bringing that in like that. And yeah, man, it's a big, Rock Nation. If you think about it, a couple of years ago, they were like a music label. Now they're in sports,
Hmm.
making one of the biggest deals within football.
Yeah.
That is big business, So
Mm.
we have to hold credit for that as well, to the Rock Nation team. And again,
No,
Jay Z,
definitely. Even in yeah.
done.
So I was going to say, even in terms of like their social presence and what they're doing with their athletes at the moment, they're bringing over a lot of like the American influence in terms of the rollout that we've seen on socials. Like that is stemmed from basketball, American football, and
Yeah,
how the athletes treat themselves as a brand, and we've started to see that more and more in the UK and within the football industry. I feel like we've been a bit late to it, but we start to see it with like the likes of Rock Nation and these other guys coming into the scene and bringing personal branding to the forefront for a lot of these players because it
yeah, no,
helps them, it helps change the perception of them as well.
Yeah, no,
because
you're right.
it allows you to dive into them a bit more personally, and you get to, like, for example, Lukaku, you get to see a different side to him. You realize that he was, I think in one of the videos, he was like a 16-year-old boy at Old Trafford at Stamford Bridge, saying that he'd play there eventually. Like this is his dream to play at Stamford Bridge, and he's made it happen. Like it's stuff like that that you don't see, you don't get to connect with personally, but it helps fans connect to him, and yeah, I'm sure it'll be off to a great start. Like I'm excited to see him in the Prem again. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, same, man. I'm like, super excited. Like, and to echo what you were saying as well, like what Rock Nation bring to some of these athletes over here, like proper humanizes them.
Mm,
um the likes of Rashford coming out speaking out about certain political issues. I think that is really really important, because there's certain people who you'll never see them talk about anything in the press. Like, if you give someone like Harry Kane example, he's meant to be the best British striker, but he never really talks about anything that's going on. So then how do any of the kids relate to him if he doesn't really talk about anything?
hmm
Like he's just there talking about his football, which is obviously is good, but like there are other, issues that are going on, like kids not being fed, might not have shoes or whatever. Like
mm,
obviously everywhere has a level of poverty. We're not saying that the UK is like really terrible when it comes to poverty. There are definitely people and areas that live in poverty worse than others. But like if you are a player that's kind of come from that, you humanize yourself by just being able to talk about that kind of stuff.
hmm
Um, and like that's where I feel like Rock Nation can really bring life to a certain footballing brand, better than the likes of Harry Kane or Henderson or whatever. They might not need to or feel like they have to. So
mm.
yeah, I just thought I'll touch on that. But yeah, Lukaku, man, I feel like Chelsea probably looked really strong to win the league now. So
Yeah, man. What I'm not looking forward to is we can talk about Arsenal quickly,
mm,
and I want to talk about Ivan Toney and Ben White, because Ben White, I like him, but he got bullied. He got absolutely bullied. And now
yeah,
Ivan Toney, as good as he is, he's not Lukaku. And we got Chelsea on the weekend, so
yeah.
that could be an interesting battle.
It could be a very
An
interesting
instant.
battle. But let's not let's. I feel like with Arsenal, we can't overreact. We really can't be overreact. We played one game. We played one game, and suddenly Arteta's out. You know, the team's not good enough. Yeah, and I can agree. The team might not be good enough, and I'm sure Arteta is working day and night to make sure the team is ready. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Did he not want Aubameyang and Lacazette to not start last week? I'm sure he didn't want that. You know,
Mm.
we Arsenal made two mistakes and with two goals, and that's the cutthroatness of the Premier League. But it's just one game. It is just one game. I think that Arsenal fans will win over the weekend against Chelsea, and it might be very lucky. And
Mhm.
suddenly it's like, yeah, we can kick on. We just need one more signing. The
Yeah.
league is ours. Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, like Arsenal fans are very frustrating to deal with at the moment. We did see Ivan Tony or even Tony. I don't know how you say his first name.
Mm.
Um, we did see him dominate Ben White, but Ben White has played in the Premier League. He's done it in a different position. I don't think we can just write him off after this one game. You
Nah,
know,
definitely not. Definitely not.
we,
And I think
we, well,
I think we know Ben White's strengths, and that's not why we signed him. We've not signed him for his aerial capabilities. He's a modern day ball playing centre half, and maybe with the likes of like Gabriel alongside him, we would have handled Tony a bit better. But yeah, I
yeah,
think that just shows it. Like it just highlights how sensitive Arsenal fans are or have been for the last further. I don't know how to agree.
Yeah,
I really kind of
ever since the birth of social media, I'm gonna plug it that way because
mm,
ever since the birth of social media, Arsenal fans have somehow come together along with other fans to make us look very, very sensitive, weak. Um, Obviously, Arsenal's been going through transition periods and things like that. Like,
mhm,
it's a lot. When you're just used to growing up watching Arsenal in a certain way, whether it be the Invincibles, um, you have a certain expectation of a club. But then when you deep it in the grand scheme of things, Arsenal wasn't the Invincibles for like 10 years. Like, do you know what
mm,
I mean? It was a 2 3 year period, where you were good, under Wenger, and then most of Wenger's reign we didn't win anything. So
mhm,
you have to look at it that way. Well, I don't
mm,
want to say most of Wenger's reign we didn't win anything, but there was a lot of it where we didn't win it, especially in that second half, and then we started winning FA Cups again. But
mm. To link this,
yeah, man,
quick one. To link this back to social,
yeah.
how do you think the effect of our AFTV has it benefited fans but negatively affected the club? Like, what's your opinion on the rise of AFTV and how it may or may have not affected Arsenal?
So the fact that it has affected Arsenal, I feel like it doesn't make sense. Like, because obviously there's an argument that you can say, Arsenal fan TV has blossomed whilst the Arsenal have kind of like fallen, so to speak, like down the table, yeah. Which I understand and I can get and I can see that and that I can see that evidence. But also at the same time, I feel like what Arsenal has done, or Arsenal Fan TV has done, has given a voice to Arsenal fans. The
Mhm,
only thing is with that is because now it has given a voice to Arsenal fans. Suddenly, Arsenal fans are now a trend, and that's a trend of the whole league. Literally, everybody tunes in to see what Arsenal fans have to say about Arsenal, simply because
mhm,
that if Arsenal win, that Arsenal fans are going to come out and say, you know what, this is it. We can do this. And when Arsenal lose, it's all like it's the bottom. You know,
mhm,
so it becomes comical. And is that I don't know if that's Arsenal fan TV's kind of intention, but it's just a situation that is with the types of fans that we have because of the types of success that we've had like in the past. I think we were invincible. We were invincible. We did have the likes of Thierry Henry. We never replaced any of those players back in the day.
mhm,
Do you know what I mean? So like, there's no surprise to me that I guess we're not where we are or where we're supposed to be. We So many decisions have been made back in the day with the same board that we have. No, I don't want to say the same board, but like with board members that we have now that were back then, that were still there back then,
mhm,
where we're not giving Patrick Vieira new deals. We're only giving players over the age of 31 year deals. Like, there's no transition from that old set of players to a new set of players. The
mhm,
game's changed as well. On top of that, like, there's been so many changes, and like the way I see it at the moment right now, I see Arsenal, I see them trying. Sometimes it's hard to defend some of the decisions that they make. Like when you're seeing Arteta on the weekend, I mean on Friday, and you see that we end up of like at the end of the pitch, at the end of the 90 minutes, we have no striker on the pitch, and we made like 20 crosses or something, and
mm.
like a lot of those crosses came in the second half, and with no striker on the pitch, and it's like that doesn't make any sense to me. Why are we making crosses
To no one.
to no one exactly? So these are some of the issues that I see, and I can't defend. And that's what I think a lot of people see, and they're like, what, Arteta out, like he has to go. But
Mhm,
I guess to conclude, I feel like I'm happy to see what Arsenal Fan TV has brought because I feel like um, I like to see fans win like that. It's just a shame that Arsenal hasn't been winning.
Yeah.
I think
And that is true though. If Arsenal win, the Arsenal fan TV have no issues. No one has issues with Arsenal fan TV.
yeah,
It's
exactly,
just when
exactly.
it's just about. I think again, I don't want to link it to Taliban, but they've given guys the freedom of speech, um, and it's up to the fans to how they take that. Like
Yeah,
fans are upset after the game, and they're just giving them a voice. But
yeah,
yeah, if Arsenal win, they've got nothing to worry about, and the heat is off them. I think they can be
exactly.
used as a scapegoat a bit.
Yeah, they can
Like
be. They can be.
like they'll
And from when sorry to interrupt, but like from when you seeing like people like Bellerin, what when you're saying Arsenal fan TV affects them, it's just negativity. I don't want you in my club because when Sky Sports says negative stuff, you're not complaining. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's the same thing. It's just press. It's just that this time it's from your own fans, and like your own fans are probably gonna say this regardless if they were on Arsenal fan TV or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just that they've been given a platform to be able to do so, and you can't be able to. You can't deal with it. That's why I'm like there's deeper rooted issues at Arsenal, man. It's the whole culture. It's trying to formulate a winning mentality, and this is gonna take years, man. It's gonna take years, but I just pray that in my lifetime we see Arsenal win the trophy again, and I can take my son
Yeah,
to the parade or whatever. So when that happens, it happens. But you just
that'll
got to
be the
support
dream.
your team through and through. Yeah, it's just
That'll be
how it
the
is,
dream.
isn't it? Every team has their cycles, man. Like City's having their cycle right now. Do you know what I mean? They're just the best.
Hmm.
So let them be the best, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
What's it called? I did have a few social media updates. First one being TikTok announces new partnerships with Vimeo and Canva. In an effort to
Okay.
kind of streamline content. So Canva being content creation platform which I use on a daily basis, they need to actually offer me a discount code somewhere. So I need to try and I'm gonna work on that for the next podcast for real.
Yeah,
Um,
plug that.
yeah, for sure. And Vimeo being video content as well. So um, yeah, so like they're syncing up together to be able to offer best kind of content with TikTok. So Vimeo and Canva being able to use their platforms to kind of create content for TikTok easier. So it's all kind of streamlined. I think that's a good look for both of those three platforms. And for anyone who's working on social media, it's a great time to jump onto Canva to help you make, some of your TikTok videos and things like that. So it's a good look, man. I see that working very well in the future. Next update is YouTube adds video chapter listings into search, which could be seen as a new consideration for SEO. So I guess the video chapters, what it says is that YouTube is looking to enhance its in-app search tools with new video chapters within search results and expands access to content in different languages to broaden search capability. So basically, they're
Okay.
just enhancing their search capabilities within the app, which is another good look as well. I'm gonna keep an eye out I guess video chapters. So
Mm. I think that's an important step for YouTube because they used to have well they still do have tags. So you used to be able to tag like keywords.
yeah,
Um
yeah,
Back in the day that used to be used as SEO, but as time has gone, tags have become near enough irrelevant and they no longer work for SEO, how meta descriptions and meta titles work within Google.
yeah,
So
yeah,
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 the fact that they're looking into this, and it should mean that people should see content from people with or accounts with lesser subscriptions more,
yeah.
which could which will only benefit up and coming content creators.
Like ourselves. So yeah, hit that like
Yeah,
button and smash
yeah,
subscribe and all that stuff.
all of that.
And the last and final update is Twitter tests new misleading information reporting option to further combat misinformation in tweets. Um, always happy to see that, man. There's so much
Mm,
misinformation on all social media platforms, and for Twitter to kind of take this jump and um, guess help kind of combat that. I think that's a good look for them.
Hmm.
So yeah, if there's a way for users to kind of flag something as misinformation, I think that's a good way for you to kind of raise it with like any internal teams or whatever and fact check it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, man, that is good stuff, man. That is good stuff.
yeah. Or also, yeah, I thought I'd phrase this as well. This is going to be an ongoing theme of us about social platforms becoming the same. They all of them being alike. But interestingly, Twitter have removed their fleet option from the platform. So what was known as Twitter Stories is now no longer, which is interesting.
Oh,
Because they've
really? So
obviously
they've removed
yes,
their stories feature basically.
yeah. So they brought it into play. I want to say maybe 4 months ago now, maybe 5 months ago. And now they've removed it just because it hasn't had the uptake that they were after.
Mm. Well, you know what? It's like what we were saying last week. I'm like, when you go to Twitter, if you're an angry Arsenal fan, you are gonna go to Twitter to type. You're not gonna go to
Mm.
Twitter to do a video. You're gonna go to Instagram to do your video, or you might go to TikTok if you don't have both, you know. So
Hmm.
you might just go to Instagram to just do your reel, and that's what you're gonna do. And I think that people need to keep that in mind. I'm never against anyone kind of copying or enabling something that's a similar, just because I think you can get enough, you might be able to get enough market share to kind of hold you over. Like, look how many cars there are out there. Look how many dope modems, memory sticks, laptops, all that kind of stuff. Like, there's things you can get a good market share and have a good following, um, if you use it. But also, you need to know why people come to you and why people come to Twitter is not for the video aspect.
Yeah.
The stories aspect anyway. So yeah, they might need to come up with something new. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think
So
they just need to
yeah,
go
I
on.
think the space for Twitter would be the podcast space because I know, oh, what is it feature called? It might be called Spaces actually, which is
Oh, like the clubhouse
their
version.
their version of stereo, I guess. Yeah, Clubhouse. So that could be an interesting space for them because I can see how that would work. Because Twitter
Yeah,
is a discussion-based platform, so I can see how adding voice to those discussions may benefit them.
yeah. No offense, stereo, but if Twitter want to give us the back and we move the podcast over there, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's all about the bag at the end of the day. So yeah,
Mhm.
man, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. What are you saying? Wrap it up there.